Welcome back to the Mental Playbook with Christine Dalgity, Season 2. This season, we are expanding the conversation, hearing from mental health experts, professionals from different industries, and people in the sports world about how they take care of their minds, handle challenges, and build the mindset to thrive both on the job and in life. So, grab a coffee, get comfy, tune in, get inspired, and let's dive into some fascinating conversations. Remember, your mind is super powerful, and with the right tools and knowledge, you can master your mental playbook. And while you're doing that, take care of you. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mental Playbook with Christine Dalgity. One of the hardest roles anyone can have isn't being the person struggling with mental health. Although I am not minimizing that, that is very hard as well. But it's the person loving them. Whether it is your child, your spouse, your parent, your sibling, your best friend, watching somebody struggle can be heartbreaking. You slowly move to roles of therapist, crisis worker, medication reminder, emotional punching bag, financial support, and advocates. And somewhere along the way, you disappear. Today we're talking about supporting somebody with mental health issues while still maintaining your own mental health. And we're going to do a little question period. It's going to be a short podcast again today, and hopefully we can help you navigate this role if this is your role, understand your caregiver's role if you're struggling with mental illness or mental health issues, and just create a general awareness. So again, like usual, I'm not sure what questions Danica is going to ask me, but I'm sure we're going to cover all bases, and I hope I can answer them correctly.
Okay, so to start off today, what should I say when someone opens up about their mental health to me?
I think you don't say anything at first. I think that it's really important just to listen and not to jump in with you should, or even, provide them resources right away. It's really hard. First of all, it's really hard when you're struggling with mental health issues, especially with stigma and stuff like that, to tell someone. And at first it's hard to understand, like, what is happening to me, right? So I think that it's really important to just listen, let them know that you're there and you're not judging them, and then ask them if they want to get some advice, or if they want you to help them with resources, not jump in and take over. But yeah, I think listening with, genuine positive regard, no judgment, and just let them know that you're there. Yeah.
What about, because I know, like, some people, like, someone will bring up feelings and, like, maybe you'll be like, oh, like, get kind of scared by it. You're like, oh, I don't know what to say, like, kind of awkward. Like, what do you do in that case if you're feeling awkward about someone bringing it up to you?
Yeah, I think it can be awkward for sure, because especially masking is so big that so many people don't even realize. Like when I went through my trauma that I've talked about in another podcast, I masked hardcore, right? I know that some people saw some things, but not one person knew. I mean, well, you were away at school, but like I masked. And so when they bring it up to you, it's like,
you're like,
I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. And that's why I'm saying at first, just listen. There's no magic wand. When a client comes to me in session, the first session, I give them, like, I start and I just kind of talk about what it looks like, what we're going to do, confidentiality, all of that. But then I say, okay, now you're on, and I just listen. And I validate. And I say things like, that must have been so hard for you. And I'd say to them, thank you for trusting me to open up like this. Thank you for sharing that with me. So just, I think everyone should just have this little repertoire, because mental health issues are on the rise. Just to, like, not pat answers, that's invalidating, but like I just said, like, thank you for sharing that with me. I am here for you, those kinds of things. I think that's important.
Yeah.
You don't have to become a therapist. Actually, you should not become a therapist. I don't mean you.
Oh,
because you are going to become
whoa.
a therapist.
Okay, noted.
No, I mean like the person that is being opened up to, it's not your job to be their crisis worker or their therapist. It's your job to be a support to help them move forward.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so next question. How can I support a family member without feeling responsible for, quote, fixing them?
Okay. That is where, there's a difference between helping someone and enabling someone.
Yeah.
And I think that in our society, the first thing we want to do is jump in and save. And we can't do that. And, you know, that person has to be willing and have the desire and the motivation to seek help.
Yeah.
And just because they're opening up to you doesn't mean that they're at that spot, right? I know when I was going through my thing and a family member said to me, you need to see a therapist.
Yeah.
Why aren't you seeing a therapist? You're a therapist, kind of thing. And it's not because I wasn't ready at that point. I needed to process some of my own stuff. So even though I started opening up saying I'm struggling, it didn't mean that I was, and I didn't want anyone to tell me what to do. I just needed that support. Helping is, encouraging independence, supporting treatment, offering choices, empowering the person. Enabling solves all their problems. You call the therapist, or whatever it may be, the help. Enabling makes excuses. It removes natural consequences. And I think that when we remove natural consequences, and I'm not saying somebody has mental health issues, so let's make sure they fall apart.
Yeah.
But if somebody is if you're always jumping in to fix it, if you're always calling the therapist and making their appointments and, telling them they need to take their medication and then they're not going to gain that independence. They're not going to be able to take care of themselves. And, you can't take responsibility for someone else's recovery. And what I say to my clients when they're in this caregiver role, to any of the young therapists or therapists that I mentor and clinical supervision for, you cannot work harder at someone else's mental health than they do, because then your mental health is going to be at risk.
Yeah.
Right? So just take that step back, listen to them, ask them if they want some help, if they want some support. You might give them names of therapists because they might be stuck, if that's the route you're taking. But that doesn't mean you have to call the therapist for them. You can sit beside them while they make that call or email, right? But you don't have to do it all for them. If they're not taking their medication and they start to spiral a little bit, you can say, perhaps you should start taking your medication. But you can't be on them and make sure they swallow it. And, take that step back. People with mental health issues aren't something to be fixed, right?
Yeah.
People with mental health issues need support.
Yeah, okay.
Did I answer that, or did I go on a tangent?
No, I think you answered it. Yeah, overall answered it. Okay, so what if their mental health is affecting the entire family?
Yeah, that absolutely happens. We need to set boundaries.
Yeah.
And I am all about the boundaries.
Yeah,
we talk about it often.
I was going to ask you how we, off of that, how you can set boundaries without feeling guilty about that.
That's right.
Yeah.
So boundaries are love, right? They're one of the biggest misconceptions about boundaries, and I talk about this a lot, but I think that it should always be talked about, right? Is that, boundaries are not punishment. Boundaries are not rejection.
Yeah.
Boundaries are not lack of caring. Yeah. Boundaries are, I care enough about you to stay healthy so that I can support you. And so even if it's affecting the whole family, it's the whole family setting boundaries.
Yeah.
And I used to see it in the school system a lot too. And I see it now, even though I work mostly with adults, the sibling that had, like the client that had a sibling with significant mental health issues, and how they always felt like they had to be perfect. They had to be the good one. They couldn't upset their parents. And how it impacted their mental health, right? It is not your responsibility to be the perfect person to counteract. It's not a child's responsibility to counteract the mental state of someone else. And so as a parent, one of the things you should not do is tell the client, or the child that doesn't have the mental health struggles that, oh, you're so easy. You know, thank you so much. Like, you don't give me a hard time. I never have to worry about you.
Yeah.
Because that starts a narrative in their head that they have to be perfect. The boundaries that you can set with family members, all family can set it, is, you know, I'm happy to talk for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Not for the whole day, right? I won't stay in conversations where I'm being yelled at.
Yeah.
That's a boundary. That's not punishment. That's not, and it's teaching that person to help regulate themselves too. I'll drive you to your appointment, but I can't make you go.
Yeah.
Right? I talk to caregivers about that a lot. Even ones that come in with a client, if that client is being, like, is escalating and that kind of thing, I always say to them, like, if they say, I don't even want to talk to you, right? I always say, I can't force you to come here.
No, I know.
And if you don't want to stay in this session or you don't want to come, I respect that.
Yeah.
And we'll end the session. And I know that for some caregivers, they're like, Christine, no.
Like, no, yeah.
Right? But it's not productive for that person. And so I set that boundary. I care about what happens to that person, but I need to set that boundary.
Yeah.
If you're going to start insulting me and getting upset with me and stuff, we're going to close off. I'll help you look for a therapist, but I can't be your therapist.
Yeah.
Right? So setting those boundaries, that's love. That's not punishing or rejecting them or anything like that. So I think if it's impacting the whole family, it's about setting those loving boundaries.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to help you, but I'm not going to be your emotional punching bag.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you, but I'm not going to do it for you. I'm going to help you find a professional, but I can't be that person.
Yeah.
There's a reason why therapists can't see family and friends.
Yeah.
We're emotionally invested, right? And even as a therapist, there's been times that people I care about and stuff, if they're experiencing anxiety, I feel a frustration in me because I want to say, just try it. Just, you know, but I'm not going to do that. And I understand anxiety, but you cannot be a therapist to a family member, especially if you're not trained.
Well, that would make sense. But yeah, I know someone who has a family member who's been dealing with mental health issues for like ever. And they've been trying to get her into therapy, but she refuses, like tantrum, like meltdown, and it's affecting the whole family to the point where they all just have kind of like given up. So she's not getting better. She's like stuck in this state where she's just not well. And like, I feel like what would you do in that situation?
That is so hard.
I feel like it's really common too, honestly.
It's very common, very common. I hear it all the time. But unfortunately, obviously you want to keep them safe.
Yeah.
If they are out of control and hurting themselves, you can call 911. They can be formed, like it's called a Form 1, where the police and medical professionals can hospitalize them for a 72-hour hold if it's like very escalated and they're harming self or others. But in that situation, you cannot force them.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we often say, like with addiction too, you see all these intervention shows and they're like, if you don't get help, I won't speak to you. I won't. There have been studies that show that isolation increases it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's also a no-brainer. If somebody's isolated, feeling alone in their struggle and like going over and over it, it's going to be more, it's going to impact their mental health more.
Yeah.
But, you know, different studies that they've done show that, like even with addiction, they did a rat study and it showed that, so at first they had one rat alone in like cage, and it had one vial, and I don't agree with this, but this is what the study was.
Yeah.
One vial with cocaine in the water, like in the water thing.
Yeah.
And then 2 with water. And the rat kept going back to the cocaine. Then they put that rat and other rats in like a Central Park for rats kind of thing, and had like a whole bunch of other rats had better conditions, and had I think 2 vials of water and then like double that of cocaine ones, and they only went to the water.
Yeah.
Right, which is so cool. But it just shows that totally, I get it. You're like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And you do need to take that step back. But it's about telling yourself that you can't work harder at their mental health than they are.
Yeah.
You can't force them. A therapist, I will not take a client that's being forced to come. It's about understanding that you're doing this for your mental health because you can't help them if you're, and you just support them. And then when they may get to, like if they're manic and tantruming and stuff, they may get to a point where they start to come down where you can have a conversation with them and just say, you know, just try.
Yeah.
Just go to one. I'll go with you. And I always say when people are hesitant to come, I always say, you're in control. Right? And if you just want to do 15 minutes to get to know me, that's cool. If you want to do 30 minutes, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like when you want to stop, you tell me. And I have never had somebody stop
yeah.
once they're in there. Part of anxiety is fear of the unknown. Right? And some people get stuck in the chaos. Your brain gets used to the chaos, and the thought of not having that chaos is more like causes more fear. But as a family, you need to set the boundaries. You just need to be there for that person without, you do not need to take the brunt of everything, right? That is such a hard, I wish I had a magic wand and I could give you like this is what you need to do, and then they'll go to therapy. But they have to be ready. They have to go. And I've had to tell so many clients that, and it's so hard, but when they take that step back, one client did, and we did EMDR because there was trauma associated with it. And she took that step back and said, I've done everything I can, and I need to keep my family safe, like her children and her husband. And Kyla even said, I cannot believe the difference. Even like in her complexion and everything, she has color again when she would come in after. And it was just that, like, I can't do it. You know, when I said, because her family member had been in hospital and had been, and would, a lot of people who with mental illness who have been in the system know exactly what to say to get released and how to play the game to get released. And clients have said to me, you know, yeah, I know what to say. They'll send me home.
Wow.
Right? So when she was able to say, if the doctors can't keep him in, if psychiatrists, you know, if he's not willing, I can't do it for him, and I need to. It was, Kyla still talks about that. She's like, could not believe the difference.
Wow. Okay. So how do I take care of myself without feeling selfish?
I think what I said, right? Like setting those boundaries, understanding that you're not hurting them, you're protecting yourself. It goes back to that, you know, on an airplane, put the mask on yourself before your children, and your first thing is like, hell no. I'm gonna protect my children first, but you can't protect your children if you're dead, right? Like if you're not breathing. And so you do that too. So you have to set those boundaries. You're not being selfish. Boundaries are not selfish. They're not punishment. They're not rejection. They're not selfish. They're taking care of you so that you can be there to support the person. So really hammering that into your psyche, to your mind, right? That what else can you do? Like short of throwing them over your shoulder and bringing them into therapy. And again, it's not about like, would you stop talking about it? Would you just, it's, if you're going to talk to me that way, you know, you can even say, I understand you're struggling.
Yeah.
I get that. I understand how difficult this is for you. I can't totally understand. I'm not feeling what you're feeling. However, if you continue to yell at me and call me names, then I'm taking that step back.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to engage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. When should I be concerned about someone's safety?
That's a big one. Typically speaking, I mean, if they're making comments about harming themselves, well, yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, even at that sometimes, though, if you bring them to emergency or something, they get sent home. But if you say something about the future, and I say typically because I have been involved in situations with family members where the person did talk future talk, like that day, and then ended their life. But typically speaking, because it's not cookie cutter, typically speaking, if a family member, you talk about the future and they say things like, yeah, well, I'm not going to be here anyway, or they start giving stuff away, a lot of their personal, especially things that mean a lot to them, they start giving that away. There's no joy, and they talk about that a lot. They make comments like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Really engage in that conversation, because sometimes I don't want to be here actually means I don't want to feel this way anymore. It doesn't mean suicidal ideations. If they're making threatening comments, if their behavior is drastically different than what is typical for them, you know, like in session, I watch a client's body language, I watch facial expressions, and and I've said it 100 times, but I can read people through their eyes.
Yeah.
And there are times that I see their eyes changing, and I know that I'm going to get the brunt of it, right? And it's not that clients yell and scream at me all the time, but I might say something that it's like, boop, and I see it, and it's my job to bring that out and get them to confront it. So if you see like changes, drastic changes in behavior is a huge one, especially for teenagers and for anyone.
What about like, because you talked about masking, like what if someone's really masking how they're feeling, and then like, because it's obviously easier for you to identify these things because you're trained for it, but like what about like,
then you don't know if they're unsafe.
that's what I mean, like
right? So then you can't really do anything.
Would there be any like slight indication, like, or
if all of us, if they're really down and they're not participating in anything, and all of a sudden they're like, hi, how you doing? And it's, I think if it's a family member, you know that person well enough to know that this is not normal, this is fake happiness, that kind of thing. And if it's like a always happy, toxic positivity and stuff, because mental health recovery, mental health journeys, they're not linear. You're not going to be like all the time, right? So that's major masking. I think it's really knowing the person and understanding the changes, whether it's like from really down and isolated to life is great, I love life, right? Or the other way.
Okay.
Isolating themselves, withdrawing from everything, no longer participating in stuff that was of interest, giving stuff away, making comments, no future talk, saying comments like, you know, sometimes I've had, like in my training, but also with clients, somebody saying, you know, something about school, university, where they're like, yeah, well, I probably won't be here then, or I'm not going to live a long life or whatever. And they're like, oh, don't be silly. No, it's like, what do you mean by that? Right? And then talk about other future things.
Okay.
If they're planning future things, typically speaking, they're planning their future.
Okay.
Like I said, there are exceptions to that, but typically speaking.
Okay. So to wrap up, what's one thing that you hope every family remembers from this talk?
I hope that every family, I think we need to do another one of these expanding. All
Yeah.
these short ones we have, I'm always like, we need to do like an hour long one.
No, I know.
Because this is huge. And
Yeah.
I do want to start, probably in the winter, I want to start a support group
Yeah.
at our office for family members dealing with family members with mental health
Yeah.
issues. I think one of the biggest things is not to lose yourself.
Yeah.
Right? I think that one of the biggest messages I want people that are listening and taking care of people with mental health issues to understand is you are not responsible for their mental health.
Yeah.
You are not responsible for their life. Even if you're their parent, you're not responsible for their recovery. You are a support to them.
Yeah.
And you cannot carry something that was not yours to carry. And I think that that's the biggest message, that you need to set boundaries, loving boundaries, and understand that you cannot work harder at their mental health. And I say, people get confused by that, right? Because we say, oh, I have mental health. You have mental health issues,
Yeah.
right? Everybody has mental health. Mental health is mental well-being.
Yeah.
But people say that I have mental health all the time. I may struggle with my mental health,
Yeah.
but there's mental health issues and there's mental illness,
Yeah.
right? And so, or mental health struggles and mental illness. So I think that, when I say you can't work harder at someone's mental health, meaning making them feel mentally
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
right? That is probably one of the biggest things that,
Okay. Well, that's all I have for you today.
Okay. All right. We're wrapping up that segment. Like I said, I think I do want to do a longer one, and maybe with the other girls too.
Yeah,
a
that'd
couple
be
of
good.
them anyway. Because this is a huge topic that I hear about all the time, but we're trying to do these short podcasts. So, but I do have a question, and yes, I have it written down because I couldn't memorize. I have two reflective questions that I really want you to think about if you're going through this or you know somebody that is. And the first one is, are you supporting your loved one in a way that's sustainable? Or are you carrying a weight that was never yours to carry? And the next one, if someone looked at your life today, would they see someone supporting a loved one or someone who's disappeared while trying to save them? I don't save or fix clients. You can't save or fix your family member. I support people. I have expertise, obviously, to help them discover some things, but your job, it's not even really your job, but your role as a caregiver would be to support them. And on that note, we will see you next week. It's the end of July next week, so it'll be our Q&A podcast, just the fun one that we do with some psychotherapy stuff and some personal stuff. This time, this is Danica's first time doing that one. So we will see you next week. And until then, take care of you. That's it for today's episode of the Mental Playbook with Christine Dalgity. Remember, the work doesn't end when the episode does. Thank you so much for watching and for being part of these conversations. If you're enjoying the podcast, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. It helps us grow and reach more people who might need this too. And don't forget, take care of you.